G'day all and welcome to today's episode where we're going to look closely at Adelaide Crows season for 2024. It was a year of near misses with several games lost by less than a kick, leaving fans wondering what could they have done to be more successful. A few tactical adjustments and composure in the right moments could have helped them push deeper into September, or maybe even September itself. Let's get into it and dive into all the whats and could have beens of the Crows season. So, boys, how are we?
Good.
Hello, guys.
If you can't tell, we've been recording a fair few of these today.
No, we haven't. We record everything on the same day. We actually live podcast.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
All the podcasts we do, we record in the start of the season. We just know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
real predictive
We
like
just
that.
bulk. We just bulk like
Bulk
50
studio
episodes.
Record, yeah.
Anything happened since the last 5 minutes I talked to you guys?
Yes, actually,
What happened?
there was some trades.
Oh, there's some trades, but we'll talk about that.
On the next trade episode.
Yeah.
You would already have heard, if you're listening to this, you would have already heard the episode where we're discussing those trades.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah.
Which-
we
would-
would've.
to be
the
specific.
trade period currently is over. Right now.
You're not going to hear us for another 3 weeks.
What
this
can we say? What
episode.
are we going to predict that happens?
In this 3 weeks,
Yeah,
I
what happened?
predict.
By
Liam-
then, I think we'll know who wins the Trump election.
I think Liam Baker will go to West Coast for pick 3. I reckon they'll just give up and give pick 3 to Liam Baker. And Daniel Rioli gets pick. Wait, what? No,
Baker is not worth pick three.
No, I know, but it's just my prediction. People say he's not even worth pick 14.
Wouldn't disagree.
Yeah.
Anyway, into the Crows. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we get on into it?
This is the last boring one.
Yeah, I
True.
agree. What? So we got after
Saints.
this we have Melbourne, and
Melbourne
after
and the
that
Saints, then Essendon, then Freo, then
we're Suns. We're
the top
Suns.
8. Oh, Suns. God damn.
Suns will be boring.
Is it Suns before Melbourne?
Where did Suns finish compared to UK?
No, I think Melbourne's before them.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think Melbourne's before. I think it went Richmond, West Coast, Richmond, North Melbourne, West Coast, Adelaide, Melbourne, Gold Coast, St Kilda, Essendon, Fremantle, Collingwood.
God, we're brain dead today. You can just tell the vibes have been used up, and we're just
What was that?
I was just thinking
Collingwood chant.
Collingwood.
Yeah, it went Freo then Collingwood, and then it's the top 8.
Oh, I forgot about Essendon. Did I say Essendon? Maybe I said Essendon.
yeah, you did. So let's get into it. Adelaide
Roll
this
the
year-
intro.
Yeah.
Oh, we've already done
We've
the
already
intro.
done- We've already done the
rolled it.
intro.
Already rolled it.
Already roll.
We've already
Adelaide
said
had 8
how we
wins. They had 14 losses and they had 1 draw. Last year they had 11 wins and 12 losses. So that's what? 3 less wins.
Quick quiz. Can anyone tell me who they drew to?
Yeah.
Collingwood, wasn't it?
No, wait. I can tell you where they drew.
Where they drew.
Adelaide Oval.
I thought it was Collingwood. Who is it? St Kilda? God, this is horrible airtime. Who is it?
I just know it was at Adelaide Oval. I literally just looked.
I'm confused where you're getting Collingwood from.
I don't know. I just
I
feel
think
like they
I
draw a
think
lot.
it's.
No.
I
They
think
drew
it's
to
St
Brisbane.
Kilda.
No, they drew to Brisbane
Oh.
Oh, gotcha.
on a Friday.
So they're
night.
basically
Sunday,
even
actually.
with the
At-
on a
premiers.
Sunday.
At Adelaide Oval.
It was at Adelaide Oval.
Well,
Yeah.
technically, if they
Night
drew
time.
with Brisbane, that they're even with the premiers,
Yeah.
and we beat Adelaide, so we're better than Adelaide,
and
they,
we beat you.
So you're also
And we beat
premiers.
and Hawthorn beat both of you.
Yeah, but you guys lost in finals, so it doesn't
Yeah.
count.
And then Port Adelaide beat you.
Yeah. Oh,
But Sydney beat Port Adelaide and St Kilda beat Sydney.
Oh God.
and Richmond beat Sydney.
Yep. So basically.
Did you beat Sydney?
Nope.
No, we only
No,
played
you
them
did
once.
not.
So what do you guys think of their season?
It's probably the most disappointing one, I reckon. Almost second most disappointing season.
Who was the most disappointing season?
I'll tell you when we get to them.
Bit of a cliffhanger. Will, what do you think? We're boring,
No,
Will. We're
he's
boring, Will.
tired.
It's 1:30 in the afternoon.
1:30 in the morning, these guys have me recording. It's 1 a.m. The sun is not out right now.
It's quite dark.
It's really dark.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah, super disappointing. I thought they were going to be a finals team this year. Massive drop off. Just never looked at all like they were very competitive. I will say there was a little stretch where they were just too late coming back to try and bring their season back. Their season was basically done by round 10, so that was my initial thoughts of the season. They did go 4-7 at home, which never helps. Not the worst record, but for Adelaide Oval, I feel like that's pretty bad, only winning 4 games and losing 7 games at your own home. So, yeah, that's pretty bad. They also did draw a game. So 4 wins at home, 7 losses at home, and 1 draw at home is just not a great record for such a place with such rich history and culture. So, yeah, I feel like they're a lot better than that. And, yeah, that was my initial thoughts.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, well, they were a team that should have made finals technically last year.
Yeah.
And then they just had a horror season. Nothing seemed to go right. They started off like okay, I would say, and then they just kept declining, and injuries probably hurt them, and they just couldn't find many players. Obviously, they did find Rankin, though, in the midfield. That was a pretty good pickup for them. And then he got injured and then suspended, and just kind of when it started to go right for them, like against Collingwood at the MCG, and then it just went wrong for them. And yeah, it just seems like nothing was going their way at times.
Yeah.
Will's really tired. It's 1 a.m. What can you blame of him?
Hey, you can't hear me sneezing anymore. We've got new quality mics. Oh, not sneezing, yawning.
I think we can we still hear yawning?
Will, do a pretend yawn. Yeah, you can hear him yawn.
Oh, I wasn't even loud at all. Yeah, but I also yawn over here.
That is true.
So
He's professional. When he
We'll find
yawns.
out next time you yawn. Yeah, they're just in an interesting spot, as like I said with West Coast. What?
This is just brain rot. Like, we'll get into it, but like starting off, like we've had some of the most
We've also
boring
eaten
teas.
no food.
What,
Yeah.
you're putting it down to food?
We didn't get supplied any food.
Anyways, let's fucking lock in, all right? Here we go.
Let's pull our finger out.
So, my first point that I wanted to make, I feel like they do have good potential in their back line. Josh Worrell, I think he's a good backman, good lockdown backman. Michael Annie as well. I feel like he's also a very good backman. I think he's played the most games for his draft class so far. So that was pretty interesting to see. I think he's a pretty good. It was good when I saw him move up out of that. He moved into a little bit of a tagging role a little bit throughout the year. Mitch Hinge, we know how good he is. He's another one that can be very good. And Mark Keane as well, I felt, had a very good year, coming from Collingwood, the Irish guy. But also someone that they were missing that everyone really forgot was Wayne Malera, he's a good player. He's a best 22 player. He missed basically the whole year pretty much. So different team without him, I would say. So it'll be good to see him come back next year. But that was just something I wanted to chuck in there from a point of view of their back line. I feel like they've got 5-ish players that have good potential and could be their future.
Yeah, this year they just struggled with like ball movement from the defensive half. I mean, they didn't have too many good ball users. They had Mitch Hinds, but then at time, he would disappear, so they have to put Dawson back there. And then Dawson didn't even have that good of a year. His efficiency was quite low for the good kick that we know he is. So yeah, Miller will be a good player to come back.
Massive help.
Max Michaelani, I think, was pretty good as well. I'm a big fan of him, but yeah, they're one of those teams where it's like I just don't know how they would do. Like they could be a team who wins a final, but they can also be a team that finishes bottom 3 on the ladder. Like
So true.
I also don't know if I'm a big fan of Matthew Nix. I don't know. I don't really think he's very good. But also haven't seen too much. I think he's been there for 3 years, so still give him a little bit more time, I would say.
Yeah. I'm sure you can probably agree. Their midfield is just not there. It's just not a strong enough, not a good enough midfield.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rory Laird was not firing on all cylinders this year. Not playing the football that he would want to be playing. Not impactful at all across the field. You've got, who else? Matt Crouch, who goes in there. He's a good player that couldn't impact too much. But, so Matt Crouch obviously being the side helps. He got injured for a large portion of the year, which didn't help. But as well as that, after that, you've got, Soligo goes in there. Mm-hmm. There's about like a 5-man rotation for that third spot in the midfield. All not good ball users. A lot of poor disposal efficiency in that third spot. Just not deep enough at all for my liking.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. 100%.
100%.
Their mids, their midfield
100%.
just doesn't go that deep. I mean, they're gonna have to find something in a draft. They had Daniel Kern, which I think they picked at pick 5, and he didn't really play much to football. Go in that one a bit later. I do have some comments from an Adelaide supporter. So do we want to do them now or later?
We can do them now in the overview.
Yeah, do them now so then we can just address them as we go on.
So, they had a pretty good team at the start of the season, and then some injuries happened. Couldn't get anything done against the bottom teams, which is true.
Yeah.
Obviously lost to Richmond
at home.
On like a Saturday night as well.
Richmond had too many primetime games.
Somehow still beat some top
give
teams.
someone the Hawthorn.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to get quite a few next year.
Yeah. You're taking all of ours, basically.
Yeah,
we're going to be in North, Sunday Arvo. Graveyard shift.
But
Sunday,
at least you can
4:40.
always know you can watch the Sunday ones.
Yeah.
Like a Richmond one, like a Saturday one, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm out at something. Like,
Yeah, but do I really want to watch?
But when are you out and the football's not on?
when you're out in the
Everyone's
football's
plans based around the football,
If you go somewhere, the footy's going to be on.
apart from like a club.
That should be. You are checking the.
You know what,
You're also not at the club that early though.
Yeah.
If it's a good game,
the club should have the football replays on in the corner.
well, some
do.
clubs don't.
Well, one
Clubs
we went to had the cricket on for a while.
do. Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah.
I mean, that place, that's God's gift.
Yeah.
Oh,
Someone was calling. For the people that know, someone is calling.
Someone's
It's an
calling.
animal.
It's an animal.
Caw-caw. I don't think it makes
That's
sense.
not the noise that it makes.
What noise does it make? Let me look that up.
Oh, we'll get it on the soundboard. We'll
Yeah.
get a swan sound.
You just tell
You've
them
given
what
it
was.
away.
It's all right. There's plenty of people that go to the Swan. We'll see you at the Swan.
Yeah, come to the Swan if you want to see us.
This also is coming out in 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. This
is
Saturday,
what-
come to the Swan.
Yeah.
This is what a swan sounds like, apparently. Hold up. Oh my God. This is ridiculous.
Is that connected to the sound?
Oh, yeah. You're not going to be able to hear, Will. Keon can describe it to you. Oh, hold up. I think we have a...
Oh, so it wasn't too
we
far.
have a caller to help comment on Adelaide's season. Let's quickly... How's it going?
Hello, Mitchell.
How's it going?
Not bad yourself.
How do you feel about Adelaide's season?
Adelaide season. What?
How do you feel about Adelaide's season?
What's Adelaide season?
The Adelaide Crows in the AFL. How do you feel about their season?
I thought it was subpar.
What made it subpar?
Draper diving on the.
No, that's horrible to bring up as an Essendon supporter. This is actually a good throwback to the first time the first guest that ever appeared on this. The episode never made it to air, I do believe,
It
Keon.
never made it to air.
That never go up.
It still sits there. It's never made it to air. I just haven't seen
The one where he's on Zoom and he lags and
Yeah, it
everything.
just never made it to air.
There's TikToks of it though.
He was wearing
Yeah, there is a TikTok of it.
Oakley gear, wasn't
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Adelaide
cool.
lost their first 5 out of their first 6 games. That's why they had a subpar season.
Thoughts about Sharky on the pod?
No, don't do that.
He makes some outrageous calls.
Nah, shut up, mate. Have you heard some of your calls?
Some outrageous calls. Keon. Hey,
Yes, mate.
no, for sure. There was more Swan supporters out. Than
Yeah.
playing
But
Brisbane.
that
Viewers
is
agree.
actually
Oh.
hilarious.
Viewers
He's,
agree.
he's
That
talking
is
about the
so
Swan
outrageous.
after we just spoke about the Swan.
Yeah.
He's
we
talking
just
about.
played a
So
swan
many more
noise.
Brisbane people.
I have viewers that agree with me.
You have one viewer.
That's no, and then I have because you're ripping on me. We're gonna let you go. Do you have any final words?
Oh, no, it's for real. Sydney should sack their coach.
I didn't say that. I didn't say they should sack his coach.
You just did.
I just didn't. I said that it's like he can't make them win a final. It's not his fault. But I said in the
Oh,
eyes
I
of the
remember this. You did kind of say sack the coach.
I didn't say sack the coach.
You said they can't win a grand final, so maybe they just need to get a coach that can win a grand final. He can get them there, but he can't get them
No,
to win
I
one.
didn't
They
say
need to get
that
a
sack-
coach
oh my
who's got their
God.
hands on the brass.
Oh my god.
What about the Crows?
Yeah, can you say anything productive about the Crows?
Not really. They just had a pretty shit year.
Yeah, that's their season.
That's their
thank you
season.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Oh, man, you just hung up on him.
Yeah, I wasn't enjoying his attitude.
All right, so now we know what a swan sounds like, and that just happened. We'll go back to the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, God, I apologize.
Was there anything else we would want to bring up before we go into the BNF?
No,
I
let's
feel
just
like there's
bring
a
it-
few
oh,
things that
no,
we should bring
sorry.
up before.
Okay.
I feel like if we could get some more things brought up that you guys feel, that would be fantastic.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, I feel that at the start of the year, I saw them as someone that was 50-50 on whether they have a good season. They had the potential to be there. Last year, I didn't feel like they were that out of it. I felt like they had potential, and I'm sure you guys can agree. They missed out on finals by a wrong call. And they also had another wrong call this year of Draper diving on the ball, as Chris mentioned, that the AFL came out. So hard done by there. And then this year to be, what were they? This was 14th on the ladder? They're 14th?
No, 18, 17, 16,
Oh, 15th, sorry. To be 15th on the ladder, it's a pretty drastic change. And I don't reckon you could put it down to one key factor. We'll talk about the key injuries. Who was injured again? I forget.
That was you.
Yeah, I'm Rankin, that's the one.
I wanted to let him.
I was just going to scroll down.
Damn it! I should have been looking.
Anyway, I feel like that's probably not the main factor. I couldn't tell you strategically what happens. I don't reckon I watched any Crows games really and paid that much attention. Besides from when we played them. Did we beat Crows? Yeah, we did.
I hope so.
Yeah.
She St Kilda did not
Richmond
beat
can
them.
beat them.
They feel
surely you
irrelevant.
can.
I'll be
St
honest.
Kilda did not beat them.
Yeah.
They low-key feel irrelevant if I'm
Hey,
totally
that's all
honest.
right. It was at Adelaide Oval. It's hard to beat them at Adelaide Oval,
Clearly not when they go 4-7.
and they lost to Richmond.
Who was the other two that they lost to? No, 4 and 7. Sorry. Who was,
They lost to.
sorry, I was thinking it's the other way
1,000
around.
I think the question more you should ask is who they beat.
Yeah, who did they beat?
I reckon they beat Port Adelaide
I
once.
think
They,
they
beat
beat
St
they
Kilda.
beat Port Adelaide and Saints. I think
They probably beat. Oh, they,
they
beat
beat
Essendon.
Carlton. No, Carlton was at
No,
Marvel.
they lost to Essendon, didn't they? They beat Carlton, yeah, Marvel. They lost to Geelong at Adelaide Oval. They lost to Melbourne at
They
Adelaide
beat
Oval.
beat Port Adelaide.
They lost to Essendon at
Beat
Adelaide
West
Oval.
Coast.
They beat Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval. They drew
Beat
the Brisbane.
the Giants.
They beat
And then
West
beat the
Coast.
Saints. So Giants, Saints, West Coast, and Port.
They lost to Richmond. They lost to
Everyone
Sydney.
else that they played at Adelaide Oval, they lost.
They beat GWS.
And drew to Brisbane.
They beat St Kilda. Wow, St Kilda only kicked 39 points that game. I remember.
Alrighty.
Oh, that's a
So-
thrilling game.
Should we go into the
Yeah, let's go
BNF?
into the BNF now. So the voting system for Adelaide Crows is 4-1 with 5 coaches voting. So a player can get 20 votes as a maximum for that game. The first one is 10th.
Don't we want to say who we...
Oh, yeah, sorry. Keon had Dawson, Keys, then Saligo. And then Will had, in no particular order, as he said.
Oh, well, I'm ordering it now. So I had Keys to win, Laird second, and Rankin third. If anyone watched the previous episode of our BNF count, no, you didn't.
Yeah, pretend. It's not like Will said in any particular order.
Nope, I did not. I said I thought, well, at least Kays was there. Anyways.
At 10th, Lachlan Scholl with 69 votes.
Yeah, I heavily rate Lockie Scholl. I think he's a great wingman.
Should have went higher.
Good halfback. I reckon he got
yeah.
75% of his votes in the back end of the year.
Yeah. Very good player.
Then we go to equal 8th is Matt Crouch and Isaac Rankin at 72 votes.
Both had injury-prone seasons. And it sounds about right, I would say. By the way, are you sure this is 4-3-2-1 with 5 coaches voting?
Yeah.
I'll
look it up now if you want.
Because this only has 100 votes. Do you remember how much the North had?
Well, let me check again.
North had like 500 votes for like 200 votes per player. Whereas this has, unless it's ridiculously spread out, and then the North one is
Right,
not
that could make sense, but I do agree with you. Something
because
doesn't seem very right there.
yeah, because I reckon there must be less coaches for Adelaide voting.
Okay, so you can get, it says here that consists of 5 coaches, each giving a player a ranking from 0 to 4 after every match. Players can receive a maximum of 20 votes for a game.
Are you sure that's Adelaide?
Yeah.
Or is that North?
No, it's Adelaide. It's Adelaide Convention Centre is where it's hosted most of the time, apparently, and it has been the same voting system since 2017.
That number doesn't add up, or the North number doesn't add up. Either one.
How?
Well, because if you look at the votes,
Oh, the votes
here,
are really low. Yeah, I agree.
so the winner had 107, right? You got a North. The top 3 of North go up to like
Not even that. Jackson Archer, who came 10th, had 115, and Lockie Shell had like what?
80.
Yeah.
So LDU, Zeri, and Sheasel together combined had about 700 votes. And you go down to Adelaide here with
Their
the
top 10 doesn't add up to 700.
yeah, exactly. Their top 10 doesn't add up to 700 basically.
I couldn't tell you. I know that. Well, that's what it says on the page. So,
Yeah, they could have changed it this year.
Yeah.
well, it would have said, wouldn't it? Surely.
Sometimes
Anyway, they seem fairly secretive about the way they do it.
it's all live streamed.
Yeah, but who actually?
Not all of them. Only 2 teams that live stream it.
Who?
St Kilda and Melbourne.
Richmond live streamed.
Oh, did you live stream it?
Did not watch ours. So, oh, no. Then number 7 is Josh Rochelle with 79 votes.
Surprised.
Very surprised. I think this might have been he must pop up here like, one of those standout players, like when he does something they notice, like a Patrick Cripps, I guess, maybe for the coaches.
Then we go to number 5, Darcy Fogarty.
You skipped Rory Laird.
Rory Laird, it was number 6 with 82 votes.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a very off season. I
as-
don't think he was very good.
As we said, off season, when he did rack it up, it was mostly handballs. Very barely impacted the side, and that was very much shown throughout the year.
Yeah, and then, as I said before, Darcy Fogarty with 87 votes.
Yeah, number 5 spot. I don't really rate Darcy Fogarty too much. Not amazingly. Like, I think he's a good player, but I don't rate him too much. I think Thilthorpe will be the number 1 option next year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, any thoughts?
Yeah, I 100% agree with Will.
100%?
Yep.
Will, do you want to do number 4?
Why? You don't want to say his last name?
No, I just feel like we need to share it around a bit more.
Oh, I'm happy to do the one after.
Karen, do you want to do number
He
4?
can do number 2.
I'm happy for you to say it.
Max Michelin, Michelini? Max
No, it's-
Michelini.
No, it's Max
Done all right.
Michaelati.
You've done all right.
Oh,
You've
that's
not
fine.
done all right yet.
God.
So he was 4th, 89 votes. I think that a little bit backs up my point of the back line that I said before. Sharky wasn't listening, looking at me confused. Yeah, so obviously a backman, played the most games in his draft class. 4th in the BNF is pretty good for a third year player, I think. So,
Yeah, I really rate him. I think he's pretty good.
yeah.
Then we go to number 3, which we all know is basically
Number 3rd.
The number 3rd.
the third best and fairest, which is basically the second in this, which is Jake Saligo
Yep.
with 93 votes.
Yeah, well, I love his come up from the sense that, at the start of the season, he was the sub, and to see where he's come from, I think a lot of people did see his potential. So it's great to see that he's been rewarded.
Yeah, I think sorry.
No, you go. You go. Ken.
I think it just shows that how when one door closes for a player, another door can open. With like Matt Crouch going out, getting injured, Sligo can then just get a good role, and he started playing some very good football.
Yeah, and then the joint best and fairest winner for 2024 for the Adelaide Crows is Ben Keys and Jordan Dawson with 107 votes.
Yep. Stock standard. We obviously talked about Keys when we did our BNF previews, and Keys, very good player, pressure player, give you his absolute all every single game. Stands out in a couple games, which would help his vote count, but he's, like I said with Jackson Archer in previous episodes, he's one of those players that will poll almost every single game. He's one of those blokes that doesn't have an off game. Elite player. Dawson, off year. You'd have to think that if he was up there, he would be. If he had any better of a year, he'd be winning this easily. But yeah, very well done.
Well, yeah, like Will says, to continue his point, that shows how bad of a year that Adelaide had as a club. That the fact that Dawson had such a bad year but still won their BNF.
Yeah.
And just on Ben Keys, I think he's a really good player. Obviously, he brought it home when he was able to beat Essendon in what he basically carried them across the line to win that game. That was probably where the votes happened, because remember Dawson went off and he injured himself.
Yeah.
And just Keys went into the midfield. So, yeah.
He's always been like that. Like, he can go into the midfield and then just rack it up.
Yeah, he's a very good player. Rate him.
Elite.
I guess what to discuss here, just because this is the only one that comes to mind, is their Mad Monday. Their golfing Mad Monday. It was a while ago. Did everyone see that?
Yeah, Kane Corns hated it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Does he enjoy anything, though?
I think he wasn't invited to his when he played. He just never got invited to Mad Monday.
What was his point again? I know. I know
you
BT had a.
You finished 16th.
You don't have a smile on your face.
Yeah.
What are they,
He thinks
guys?
people can't
Golfers?
celebrate. Well, he got very angry at the Richmond one as well.
What are the Richmond team guys?
Toy Story.
Is there enough toys?
There's plenty of toys in Toy Story.
Is there 22 people worth of toys?
Oh, there's at least over 100.
so yeah.
There's over
You could go.
100.
You could go Army Man. That'd take up a few spots. You go
It's
Slinky.
You could have 30 army men.
Not even that. No, there's be hundreds.
No.
But
I'm thinking just out of the
if you
movie.
just wanted, say you had a group of 10 of your mates, all of you could go as army men.
Yeah. And then you got Potato Head.
The Potato Family, you got Woody, Buzz, Rex.
I completely forgot about Rex.
The chick.
The
Bo Peep.
yeah.
Oh no. Oh, you're talking about.
Huh?
Then you can also dress up as Andy. You can dress up as the mum.
Yeah. You could dress up as the teddy bear. The
What about that kid?
The
That
villain.
The kid.
The clown.
The clown.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm thinking just from the first one, so that's why it's caught me off guard. Well, I was
You
thinking.
could dress up as the spoon.
The car. The
Oh,
spoon.
I haven't watched that
spoon.
one.
There's a new Toy Story coming
sport.
out as well, by the
Yeah.
way.
God,
Next year.
stop it. They're making too many.
They're also bringing out a new Cars.
I'll
What?
watch that.
Yeah.
I will watch that, but I don't know how I felt about the last cast.
They're
in all
bringing
honesty.
Snow White to life.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, they're
care.
not called. Yeah, there's a bit of controversy over that one
Boring.
What's the controversy?
Oh, yeah, there is.
about the little people.
Yeah, I think so.
They're not called like. Oh yeah, there's been some casting stuff. They're not. I think they're animating all of the 7. Yeah,
Anyways,
Why
back into the
Can't they
Adelaide.
get little people to do it?
because it's offensive to little people. Apparently, it's just called Snow White, and I don't think there's going to be any like the type. I don't know.
Have you guys actually watched Snow White?
Yeah.
I watched one of them, but
There's more than
There's
one
more
of
than
them?
one?
there's the live action one. There's a live action one already.
But he knows it's no
He knows the director's cut.
No, because my sister went. There's a live action one, and then there's the cartoon one. The live action one's actually alright. Like, good jokes, good bands.
Yeah, right.
Haven't watched the original, I can't say.
Anyway.
Anyway, back to their Mad Monday. So they went as golfers, got ripped into a bit because of how low they were. Any comments on that?
Nope.
Let them have a good time.
Let 'em
Worked
be.
hard. Reset.
That's why people have depression.
It's why? Because of Kane.
Because Kane goes, you can't have fun.
Kane see, this is the thing though. When you think about it, Kane's job is basically what can I get people to piss me off on?
I
He got a job at
think,
7.
I think he's all right.
Huh?
Well, yeah, he got a job at 7 and then people
Got a job at 7.
left.
Yeah.
I love the beef that's going around between the commentators.
I actually don't know the beef, so fill me in.
Basically, everyone at 7 hates Kane Corns anyway.
Yeah.
He's
well,
got beef with all of them. And then now...
Well, he just
Cam-
seems like a really chill guy that just kind of like goes with the flow. He just walks in something, just doesn't really... It kind of annoys him, but he just keeps it to himself, internalizes it.
I can't tell if you're being...
Of course, he just rips into...
No, but he's only like that on air. Like, but they just don't like
but they
his
pay him for
faults.
that. They basically
exactly.
do them.
Well,
that.
it's Luke Darcy doesn't like him. Now he's gone.
Mm.
Daisy Thomas hates him. He's still there. But...
They've somewhat made up.
well, did you hear what Kane said when they saw each other?
No.
I don't know if it was just Daisy, but he came on and he was like, "You got to say that to my face? Don't be a cunt." Or like, yeah. I'll show you guys a clip afterwards, but yeah.
Anyway, back to Adelaide.
So list changes coming into 2024. They gained people from the draft. Obviously, Keon spoke a little bit on it. They gained pick 8, Daniel Curtin. He's a defender. He played 7 games for the year. Sharky, did you want to take over now?
Yeah, I'll crack on right into it. Charlie Edwards with pick 21, midfielder, 0 games. Nothing from you guys.
Probably related to the West Coast Edwards that we were talking about
Why are
earlier.
there so many Edwards that don't
Yeah.
play but are on AFL lists?
Then Carl Gallagher, from the rookie, full forward. Forward, sorry. Didn't know Carl was coming out of the hood. You know, isn't he out of Shameless? Carl Gallagher from
Yeah, no,
Shameless.
you're right.
Oh,
you're
he
right.
is, yeah.
Yeah. Just a shit call.
That's horrible. Then on to Oscar Ryan at pick 27, defender, 0 games. Have any of you guys seen, heard?
Don't know any of the 3 of them.
Okay, then you got, I believe this was a trade. Charlie
Chris.
Burgess?
Chris Birch.
Why do you get Charlie? That's what they
It
call
doesn't
him.
even say Charlie.
That's what they call
boy.
him on the field. That's
They
what
call
him.
Chris Burgess Charlie.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Chris Burgers and what is it? Burgess.
Yeah. Chris Burgers.
Chris Burgess and pick 14. They got them from Gold Coast. Gold Coast got pick 23 and pick 26. He's played 7 games. What do you guys feel about him?
He's an alright player. I don't think he's horrible. When he was at Gold Coast 2 years ago, he had an alright season. And then he won the VFL Coleman medal last year, and then he got brought to Adelaide. He's not AFL level, like a full season AFL level though. He's alright.
I'd like to see him as a second ruck maybe. Because they you can tell they don't really like Riley O'Brien in that full-time ruck spot. I'd like to see if he
He's just
could
never been
develop.
good as a ruck.
Yeah. If he could develop into one kind of thing, like a Luke Jackson or something.
He hasn't got much developing left in him.
But yeah, I know. But,
He's
you know,
like 30.
if he could.
Then we move on to the outs players they dislisted and retired. So, Keon, do you want to run me through that list?
We
Dude.
had
Let Sharky read the second name.
okay. Tyler Brown, ex-Collingwood player, ex-Templestowe player.
Delisted.
The next one was a free agent, got to Brisbane. His name was
Tom Doherty.
Tom Dowie.
Doherty.
Uday.
Duday. Tom
Um,
Duday.
Yep, actually didn't get to see him at all this year, and they still won a premiership, which is crazy. Jackson Hartley, that's how you say it. I think.
Delisted.
Shane McAdam,
Traded to Melbourne, and I'm pretty sure he played 3 games at Melbourne.
Yeah.
Maybe even 0.
No, he played like 3 games, 4 games.
Fisher McCasey,
Retired.
assuming that was a
Retired.
forced retirement.
Yeah, it says retired.
No, as in, I don't think he's played an AFL game. I reckon it was a medical retirement.
Oh.
Can't get delisted if you retire.
Hey, how many
Andrew-
players do you reckon are doing that? Like, I retire.
Dan Gorringe did that.
Andrew McPherson.
Delisted.
Sharky.
Tyrak Newchurch.
Yep.
I think it's Tariq.
Tariq. Oh, that makes more sense. Tariq Newchurch.
Tyrak. You did the I before the A.
There's no A in there. Oh, there is. Delisted.
And then Paul Seedsman.
Retired.
Yeah, that one probably hurt him quite a bit this year, not having him of the wing. But yeah, so there's people they lost. No one of great nature apart from Tom Duday, I would say. Key for their backline is somewhere where they've struggled for a while, and losing him wasn't good. He just hasn't been able to play football the last 2 years, basically. Hopefully he can next year in the premiership team, and they'll probably go back to back with him.
Then we move on to some major injuries that happen. We have here Isaac Rankin and Phil Thorpe. What do you guys think about these? How did it affect the season? Where would they have been if they were healthy?
Well, Rankin's injury, obviously, as we said earlier, Sharky wasn't here. We were saying how Rankin's injury probably came at the worst time for him when they started building a bit of momentum. And then he got suspended as well. So he was some outs. Phil Thorpe's, though, technically this worked in their favour because he got built. So
I was about to say, they're better off now.
yeah.
I'm way better off. It was like that bloke really put in some work in the year that he got off. But yeah, even like as you said with Rankin, you know, obviously a massive out, and we haven't really seen that injury-prone stuff from Rankin until this year.
Goes into the midfield, a bit more pressure on his body.
Yeah, so there might be a little bit of a concern next year if he can't cope with not just playing small forward. Obviously a great talent, both of those guys, Thilthorpe and Rankin, they'll carry these guys coming in the future years. I'd love to see Riley Thilthorpe kick 40-plus goals next year. That'd be great to see.
Then we go into what Adelaide's future looks like. So the current picks they have are 4, 46, and 64. And it feels like they're getting a lot of trades through. Being through Melbourne, we know that not Isaac. I screwed them up. Alex Neil-Bullen's coming from the Demons.
Well, Isaac is...
Yeah, Isaac. And then Isaac Cummins is coming from Giants.
You probably could have just kept going with Isaac.
Yeah, but I wanted to be truthful.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to be truthful.
You wanted to admit to the fans.
Well, I was going to... If I did that, I was going to go Alex... I was going to go Isaac.
Alex Cumming.
I was going to go Isaac Neil-Bullen from Demons to Crows.
Yeah. Yeah, so pick 4 is definitely a must. Needs to be a must good pick for them.
What position do you reckon they try and go for?
You get a midfielder. You get a good midfielder that they can develop. Get that third midfielder that they can play every week. Maybe a halfback or even a midfield, like just an elite athlete that can play midfield halfback as well. The other 2 picks, they'll go down further, maybe skip as well. And some really good pickups. Isaac Cumming, obviously, can play on that wing for them, on that other wing. So you've got Lockie Scholl to play on one wing and Cumming to play on the other. That'll be good. That'll be good for Isaac Cumming for him. Alex Neil-Bullen as well can play that half forward spot, play in the midfield, give you a tagging job. Bit of everything. Great player. Obviously third in his team's BNF. So elite player. Happy with both of those picks to come in. Those will be 2 players easily in their best 22, and pretty exciting actually.
I mean, Alex Neil-Bullen finished 3rd in the BNF for...
Yeah, I just said that.
Did you?
Yeah,
did.
I did.
Sorry, I was looking at the next trade that they made.
Yeah, somehow they've become a destination club after finishing.
Yeah, I know.
Like, there's still a few more players I think that will get there
South
as well.
Australian
So,
talent. They're maybe lucky that Lukosius has requested to go to Port instead of
yeah,
normal Adelaide.
good pickup for them to get Alex Neil-Bullen. I think third in their best and fairest, wasn't it?
I think he might have finished third in their best and fairest.
Was he?
So good pickup. Good pickup from them. Good on him. Yeah.
Yeah, great pickup. I think he finished third in their best and fairest.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't hear that.
Yeah, you actually didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that very well.
Yeah.
Coming into 2025, they're going to lose currently Elliot Himmelberg from Adelaide, obviously, to Gold Coast. Were there any picks involved in that one, or is it? Oh, did they delist him?
Compensation, was it?
Did they just delist him?
I don't think he got delisted.
No, he was just nothing. It was just
Straight.
fuck off. I'm going there.
I like Elliot Himmelberg. I've already spoken about this. We talked about this on the trade podcast,
Yeah.
so don't need to get too much.
People might have
into
forgot
it.
though. It was
4 weeks ago.
yeah.
I do enjoy Elliot Himmelberg. I think he's a good player though, so he can have some success.
And then they say goodbye to the following players. Keon, who do they say goodbye to?
They say goodbye to Lockie Gallant, which didn't mind him. Didn't get too many games though. Will Hamill, another one I actually quite liked.
Kind of sad. He injury kind of fucked him up.
Yeah.
Those massive hits.
Obviously, Alec Himmelberg. Ned McHenry, who I thought was actually a very good player. So the fact that they got rid of him, I thought was quite surprising, in
I
my
was
opinion.
Very surprised at this one. I did like Ned McHenry. He'll get a go at somewhere else. I can just understand from the sense that his use of the football is not there.
Yeah.
His efficiency is not great. But
Especially with them getting Cumming now as well.
yeah.
Pushes him out.
Yeah. So he was a former first round draft pick. I wouldn't mind Richmond to pick someone like that up. But yeah.
Patrick Parnell, another one who struggled to get games.
Yeah. Just didn't really get the opportunity as well. So must have not shown much in the sandful.
And then Rory Sloane, obviously, which is a big one.
Yeah. So what do you guys see for the future? What do they need to do to improve? What do they need to do to... This is another one like West Coast where it's a bit wishy-washy, but what do they need to improve? What's their main area of weakness? How do they bring themselves back to that final contention?
Why are they wishy-washy like West Coast?
Well, what's their one defined problem that they have? I'd say that there's a few more issues than one you can put your finger on.
I'd say their use out of the back line. Like,
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty defining, like how they use it out of that back line and their delivery inside 50.
Yeah, I was just saying from what I felt throughout this podcast that maybe it was more than one, but if you're saying that if they fix that up...
West Coast is kind of wishy-washy because of, the players they've got are so old, so they've got so many issues. So it doesn't matter if they change stuff because all those players will be retired anyways.
Yeah, they'll just have to do it again.
Whereas these guys have some fresh talent coming in. Obviously, pick 4, Isaac Cumming and Alex Neil-Bullen is some great pickups for the year.
Where do you see them finishing next year?
I've got them in finals. I've got a
Where do they... 7th? 8th?
8th. If they make finals, it's 8th for me.
Do they make it to the next stage of
I
finals?
can see them winning a final.
Okay.
But I'm not going to make that call yet.
How many wins do they get?
What they had? So
I think they had 5 this year. I think. They had 8 wins
they
this
had
year. sorry.
8 wins this year. So 8 wins this year. I'd say they have 13 wins next year.
That's 2 more than the year before, which makes sense because they've got probably a better list now than they did then.
Yeah, 2 more than last year.
Yeah, 2 more than last year.
Yeah, which was basically finals.
Yeah,
So I'm also banking on that it's not going to be like a season like
this year.
this year where
Well, this year you
was-
needed 13 wins to get
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
finals,
So I'll say 12 to 13 wins.
Keon, where do you reckon they finish up next year?
I don't know. It's like I said earlier. It's tough to say they can finish either bottom 3 or win a final. But I don't think they'll play finals. I just don't think their list is at that level yet. They haven't got a good enough defender.
Do you agree with Will, though, that they need to fix their backline and how they're using it on the backline?
Yeah.
If they do that, will that get them in the final spot?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that they could improve on that would get them into finals, or is there anything else close to that amount of impact that it would have on
I think
winning?
they need to find a forward who actually demands the ball. I mean, they've got Fogarty, who shows up every 3 games. Thilthorpe is still trying to play, but he was still struggling at times.
Tex Walker's still there, isn't he?
He is, but you can't rely on Tex Walker.
They need a centre half forward, like a proper centre half forward that runs
Yeah.
up the field. I agree with you with that.
Yeah.
I reckon that about wraps us up if no one else has anything to say about the Crows. No?
Yeah.
So I think one just last point on it is I think Keelan's spot on about Matthew Nix needs to either learn to coach differently considering the midfield he's got, or they need to draft well for this year's draft for a good midfielder to improve their season, as I think they get beat out the centre clearance pretty often. So that's just my last point. That wraps us up for the Adelaide Crows, I think.
Yeah, it does. Go ahead and have a look at any of our socials. Chuck us a follow on Instagram, and stay tuned for more exit meetings. Goodbye, everyone,
Thanks
and
very much for listening.
have a good time.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like that's the end of the Nothing But Footy podcast. Thanks very much for tuning in. Go ahead and check us out on all of our socials, and we'll see you on the next one.